Welcome to the Buzz Honeybee Virtual Workshop, a collaboration between Vincent Park Shopping Centre and the Makers Workshop. I'm Roxanne, a bee ambassador and nature lover. My fascination with bees began when I made a simple promise to spend more time outdoors. That led to me learning about the very important role they play in our lives, the immensely busy lives they lead, and the simple things we can do to help them in their day-to-day life. We're so excited to have you here with us today, and we're going to teach you how to create a bee-friendly environment. On top of that, we're going to have the opportunity to chat to an ethical beekeeper. Okay, so you can go ahead and open your honey box, and inside your honey box you will find 4 biodegradable pots, a variety of seeds, a packet of wild seeds in a Hessian bag, and a jar of honey with a honey dipper. The honey is to say thank you. It's a personal thank you from the bees, to say thank you for taking time out of your day to learn further about them. You can go ahead and grab your packet of wild seeds. You can open up the packet, disperse them in your hand and scatter them in an area that's maybe vacant in your property or in a park, wherever you may find it appropriate to plant these seeds to help the bees. Before we begin planting our seeds, it's important to mention that instead of fearing the bees, we need to just learn to respect them. Bees would never attack unless provoked. So before fearing them, provide food for them and enjoy them being in your company. Talking about the seeds that you will find in these biodegradable pots, we have fennel. Fennel is a herb which is a feast for the bees. Secondly, we have calendula. Calendula is a very useful herb as well, and it provides bright color within your garden. Thirdly, we have sunflowers. Just bear in mind that sunflowers require 6 to 8 hours of direct sun. They also grow very tall, so need to be wind sheltered, as you don't want them falling over. And finally, we have rockets, a leafy green herb that is delicious in salad. So let's get started. Alright, so a great way for you to play a role as a bee ambassador is to provide water for the bees. Bees need water for various reasons. There are 3 reasons that I'd like to mention. Firstly, it aids in their digestion. Secondly, bees use it as a natural air conditioning. Honeybees will collect water and they will beat their wings within the hive once they've placed the water down, and that will act as a natural air conditioning for the hive. And then reason number 3 is because it's an essential ingredient in the food that they feed their babies, and that's what we know as royal jelly. So today I'm going to teach you just a quick and easy way to make a bee bath that would help the bees find water. So you can use anything to create a bee bath. Myself, I found this at the local hospice. You just want a shallow dish, preferably out of clay as it keeps cool in the warmer months, and then you want various sizes of stones, or you can even use corks. You then place them down in the bowl, and that's as easy as it is. Before I introduce you to our guest Owen from Honeychild Honey, I'd like to talk to you about the importance of beekeepers and why it's so important for us as South Africans to support our local beekeepers. Beekeepers play a vital role in not only producing honey, but also looking after the well-being of our bees. An easy way for you to support them is to engage them. Find your local beekeeper, speak to him, get to know him, see how he treats his bees, and then thirdly, buy from him. We need to remember that bees provide the healthy environment that we live in, and beekeepers help those bees thrive. They don't only produce liquid gold, but they ensure that the bees have items to forage. I'm so excited to introduce you to Owen from Honey Child Honey. Him and Krista produce the best tasting, locally sourced, ethically made honey that I myself have ever tasted, and I am a honey lover. I just wanted to say thank you so much to both Owen and Krista for welcoming us onto their property and allowing us access to shoot the video here. Today we are meeting with the lovely Owen. The wonderful bees have produced the honey called Honey Child, and today we're going to ask him a few questions to get to know him a bit better. So Owen, can you tell me a bit about yourself and what made you become a beekeeper?
Well, I'm just one part of Honey Child. Krista's the other part, but she's busy planting in the garden for the bees at the moment, which is what she does.
Yeah.
So the bees and the plants have a symbiotic relationship, and we have the same. She plants an immense amount of bee food, whereas myself and Zach actually handle the management of the hives. We started in 2005, and our beekeeping has always been conservation orientated, and the bees come first.
From what I understand, you are a nature conservationist with a specialization in beekeeping. Something I'd like to ask you is, what's one tip for someone who would like to become an ethical beekeeper like yourself?
It's difficult because we're sitting in South Africa where there's actually too many beekeepers and not enough food. So I would say if you want to get into beekeeping and you want to produce honey from your own hives, which is trustworthy and ethical, start with a planting program first.
100% agree with you there. All right, so I'd like to know from you, as a South African, when I go shopping for honey, I don't know what to look for in terms of buying locally made, locally sourced honey that is both ethically made and takes care of the well-being of the bees. So how would I go about shopping for honey in South Africa?
It's difficult because your main bottlers have to import honey. The amount of honey imported is over 4,700 tons now, and the amount that's produced locally is less than 1,000 tons. That's changed radically in the last 20 years, and it's simply because beekeepers can't compete anymore with too many hives, with the Working on Water project to cut the eucalyptus, which supplied 70% of South Africa's honey. The honey yields have dropped dramatically. So you want to find proper honey, there's a great source out there in all the supermarkets, but it's normally in blended imported stuff. Find a local beekeeper, say to him you want to go along with him, see how he operates, if he's gentle and careful with the bees, and that would be your best source of local honey. Okay,
so as an ethical beekeeper, what do you believe is the number one cause, or one of the biggest causes of hive losses in South Africa?
Oversaturation of forage areas and lack of planting. Everybody wants to get into beekeeping. It's the most topical thing in the world. Let's get our own honey. They forget that bees have to visit more than 450,000 plants just to produce a kilogram of honey. They also need 40 kilograms a year for their own needs, and then whatever the humans harvest. So think about it first, really think about it. Maybe it's better for you to work alongside a beekeeper, but more than anything, if you're going to get into beekeeping, your first point of departure has to be, what can I plant for the bees? Both short term, medium term and long term. Those trees are legacy you can leave behind for future generations of beekeepers.
I love that, Owen. That's awesome. And I'm so happy that we're here today to teach everyone how to create a beekeeping environment that's friendly to them and that can uphold them.
Yeah, one tree, one plant makes a difference.
I agree. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Rox, and I'm wishing you a lovely day further. Bye.